friends that they do.
Mm-hmm.
So I know, for example, that headaches are problem caused by stress or any muscles here that could be stressed. So is there any other, and of course that, for example, if you have eat something that you it's not good for you.
That's a physiological reaction.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you're allergic to something, that's, unless you know that you're allergic to it, it's kind of hard to pull that one out. But stress is the biggest cause of most headaches for most people. And getting rid of tension in the muscles really isn't that difficult. Now, if it's a body thing where there's something not right with the body, even if they do chiropractics and massage and all that kind of stuff, the easiest way to tell is have somebody stand up in front of a mirror with their arms down at their sides without trying to stand straight. Just let it go. And look at the shoulders. If they're straight across, then you put your thumbs on your front hip bones and look at those. If they're straight across, then it's usually from the neck up where the problem is. If the hips are off, that will cause the shoulders to be off, usually the opposite direction. And that's an indication something in the back which causes pain, which causes tensing up, and there's your headache. That's an indication of whether they need a body alignment or not, in which case that's looking at the cause of them, not the result. Getting rid of a headache, headache is a Band-Aid, I would call them, if you're just going to get rid of a headache. It's fairly simple. You can do polarity, which is an energy thing. There's a point between the thumb, the acupressure point. You can massage that. There's ones at the temples. There's even a product called white flower. It's a Chinese herbal medicine. It's camphor, menthol, eucalyptus, and wintergreen. And they actually sell it as an analgesic, but they sell it specifically to get rid of headaches, and they tell you to put a drop here and then massage those. Well, those are the acupressure points for getting rid of a headache. That's no wonder it works.
You know what? The white flower oil we carry around with us. Every household has one. Stomach ache.
There's a lot of things that it'll do for a number of different reasons, but the reason I found out about it is because it'll stop blood flow. I think the wintergreen actually shrinks the capillaries and stops them off, and it heals quicker. It's kind of an antiseptic. So you can use it as aromatherapy as well. You can breathe it. Same thing with ylang ylang or lavender oil, those kind of things. Not everything works for everybody, but getting rid of stress in the muscles that causes headaches does work for everybody.
And is there any, because headaches are not, normally are not, some people has headache for the whole head, but some people has just in one of the sides or just in front. Is there any reason why the headaches are in different sides or front or just back or the whole head? Or?
Every individual has different reasons why they occur, so it's kind of hard to put a blanket statement on that. But if it's on one part of the head or the other, I would look towards muscle stress more than anything else. You know, if you ever watch people drive down the road and they're like this in the driver's seat, or they're like this, you know, rarely are they sitting straight up. Well, for guys, it's usually because they've got a wallet that's about this thick, and it immediately curves the spine and throws them off. Well, doing that, your muscles have to compensate for that, for you to be able to do this, you know. And, of course, it's going to cause stress, especially on long drives. So get the wallet out of your butt. You know, it makes a whole lot of sense. Some people's car seats are not really well designed, so it causes other problems. But most people, when they feel something that's uncomfortable or painful, the muscles contract. Stress. You know, so if you get rid of that cause, you get rid of the result, which is the headache. Now that's a long-term cure. So I find most migraines, and especially the ones that are people that stay in bed for 2 days or kind of thing, the muscles in the neck area are so tight, which then also goes through the whole head, and basically it's like putting your head in a vice, and they feel it that way. So you get rid of the stress in the muscles again. And there's some easy ways of doing that. If you feel at the bottom of your skull, you'll feel 2 points. Those 2 points, and then about a ½ inch forward from that, and then another ½ inch forward from that. The 2 points on the skull, if you tap them up, the next 2 at a 45-degree angle, and the next 2 forward, horizontal. That's called the Atlas wedge. If you can literally hit all 6 of those points at the same time, you don't have to go through all the testing. It won't hurt you otherwise. But you can get rid of a migraine in less than 10 seconds because it lets all those muscles relax. You know, and it's amazing how fast that works. Because I worked with an English woman. She called them migraines, you know, because she didn't know migraines. And she had one night, and she was one that usually would stay in bed for a couple days. And this was chronic for many, many years. And she was working on a computer, and I said, okay, just stay there for a second. And then I went over and went all 6 points at once. And she turned around and looked at me and said, what did you just do? I said, what do you mean? She goes, my headache's gone. I said, yeah, it should be. You didn't want it, did you? You know, I could probably give her another one if I tried, but it was that simple. And she looked at me like I was from some other planet, you know, and wondered why is it that simple to get rid of a headache that strong when she's used to having them over and over and over, like every day. I said, just learn those points. You can take them away yourself, you know. The acupressure points or the any stimulation points for massage, you can also learn those. In the pad of the thumb or the big toes, either one, if you dig around in there for a little bit with the tip of your finger, you'll start to feel a little hole. And you'll definitely feel that it's there. But if you have a headache, or in women's case, cramps, and massage that, it might hurt for a little bit, a few seconds or whatever, but then it'll go away, and so will the pain. You know, and that's in a matter of seconds, not in minutes, not in hours, no drugs involved. And it's something, if a woman's go out shopping and has cramps, she can sit there and do that, and nobody knows even she's even doing it. You know?
So always do like this.
Yeah, in the pad of the thumb.
Yeah.
Just dig around a little bit, you'll start to feel like an indentation. Well, that is the point, the acupressure point that is connected to the pituitary gland, which regulates the metabolism. So it releases endorphins, which is a natural painkiller, can't hurt you, and it feels good. I had one client that had gone to every headache specialist she could find in the world because she could afford it. They did MRI scans on her and everything. And they said, there's nothing wrong with you. But she kept having migraines. So I worked with her for a while and found out that it was more of an emotional problem of something that happened in her life that she could not justify and couldn't understand. And every time she thought about that, she'd get a headache. But she never put 2 and 2 together. So we worked with what the problem was, changed her thinking on that, and she said immediately the headaches diminished in severity and in frequency to the point where she could live with it. And then I showed her some of the other stuff where she could take them away as Band-Aids. And we never got a chance to do any more work on it because, for a long story, but she's not here anymore. So there's ways of dealing long-term that are much more effective. And I'd rather see the long-term results anyway because there's a lot less cranky people running around.
That's good. So actually the secret would be like to know the mainly points in your body that you could treat your headache.
That would be the second part. The first real cure is to know your body well enough so you know what not to do. Knowing what to do if something happens and you do get a headache, because probably not going to live a lifetime without having a headache now and again. But if you know how to get rid of it now so you don't have to live with it, that'd be the second part.